When you spend a lot of time traveling, you realize that the things you bring with you can make a big difference in your overall travel experience. You don't want to pack too much and just have a bag overloaded with things that you don't use very often, but you don't want to pack too light and be missing those things that might make your travels more functional or even just more convenient. So today I'm going to share our 13 favorite travel accessories that you can get on Amazon. These are things we travel with ourselves that we think have earned that place in our bag. Now, just a note, this is not a sponsored video. Everything I'm going to talk about are things we have bought and paid for with our own money. These are just things we travel with ourselves, so we thought we would share it with you. One of the first things we always think about when traveling internationally is how are we going to plug things into the wall? Every country has a different plug type, and you're probably going to need an adapter to be able to plug your home electronics into the wall. We are traveling with the CEPTICS plug adapter. It is a set of 5 different plugs that you plug into the wall depending on which region of the world that you're in, and then it has a universal plug on the other side that you can plug your own things into. So what I like about these is that they are lightweight. It's only about 5.6 ounces for the whole set. It is a little bit bulky, but I think overall it's worth having with you because of course you have to plug things in. Now, some people are going to prefer an all-in-one that have all of the different kinds of outlets built into the same thing, and those can be great. We have used them in the past and they are nice because they're more compact and just easier to use. The problem with them is that they are heavy. And so when you plug them into a wall outlet that has like a loose connection, sometimes, especially once you start adding on your computer plug to the outside of that, it just gets too heavy and falls out of the wall. And if it can't stay in the wall, then it's not doing you any good whatsoever. So we got rid of those and we went back to these because even though it's a little more bulky, they stay in the wall better and they're less likely to fall out and just be more practical to use. Another thing is that especially here in Europe, the outlets are recessed into the wall. And so often those all-in-one adapters just don't have a long enough prong to fit into the recess. So even if you can get it in there, they're going to be really loose. This one is designed with those outlets specifically in mind, so they go in really tight and snug. This set doesn't have every single adapter that you're going to find around the world, but it does have 5 of the most common. We are very glad that we're traveling with this. Another thing we think is a must-have to travel with is a power strip. Too often you get into a room and the outlet is halfway up the wall or hidden behind the bed and you just need that extra reach to be able to get your devices to it. So we travel with this power strip from UPWADE. It's pretty simple. It's got 2 plugs, 4 USB ports, and it comes with a 5-foot cord. I like that this cord is in green. It just makes it that much easier to see when you're packing up so you don't leave it behind. Now it does say that it comes with surge protection. I can't find any actual specs on that, so I don't know how much I would rely on it, but it says that it's there, it can't hurt. The only thing I don't like about this is that it does feel a little bit fragile. There's a piece of plastic underneath the plug that you kind of have to force your way through to plug things into. I think it's a child safety feature, but it ends up just kind of feeling like you're going to break something. Now we've had this for 6 months and nothing is broken. It works fine. And every other model that we looked at was just a whole lot bigger than this and would have taken up a lot more room in our bag. So weighing everything out, we've had it for 6 months. It's working great. We're going to keep using it. Every traveler is going to have a plan to deal with the rain, and we are no different. We have tried a lot of different things over the years, from umbrellas to rain ponchos. A lot of the rain ponchos we got were very small because we wanted them to be packed away easily because we knew we wouldn't use them every day. But then when we would use them, because they were so lightweight, they would get ripped, they would get snagged, and then we were spending a lot of time like taping them up to try and fix the holes and then trying to find another one somewhere. So we finally upgraded and we use this rain poncho from ANYOO. It is ripstop polyester, it is nice heavy weight, something that is going to resist the rain. We have worn these in torrential downpours in Asia and they do not soak through. But even though they're pretty heavy, they don't feel, some of those ponchos that just hold in everything and you get really hot and humid underneath. Because this has the armholes, it seems to flow pretty well and they're not as uncomfortable as some of the other ones. It does have a hood, which I also like because then we were able to ditch the umbrellas altogether and we just use these now. It does roll up fairly small. It's only 11 ounces. It takes more room than the other ones that we used to have, but this one actually works and is reusable, and so we think it deserves a place in our pack. It does also unbutton and you can lay it out flat if you needed to use it as a tarp or something to have a picnic on. We've been using this now for a year and a half of travel all around the world, and it has no rips, no snags. It's really big, which I really like. I'm 6'1", and it falls below my knees. And unlike some of the lighter weight materials that sometimes will ride up as you walk, this one's heavy enough that it stays long and keeps me protected from the rain. It's extra long in the back, so if I am wearing my backpack or anything, it will cover that as well, which is really convenient. The only issue I would say there is if you are a shorter person, this might end up being a little long for you. My mom is 5'3", and when she tried to wear it once, it was kind of hitting the ground in the back, just barely, but probably she wanted to get something that was a little bit shorter for her frame. But for us as two tall guys, this has been terrific. We are very glad we have this. Another thing I recommend bringing are some reusable grocery bags. We use these all the time. They are small, they are lightweight, and you can see they fold up into almost nothing. We got a package of 6. We only brought 3 of them with us, but we use them all the time. So we use them for grocery bags when we're coming home from a store, so we don't have to pay for extra plastic bags or just waste plastic bags we don't need. We use them for packing. I'll put my sandals in these when I'm packing them inside my backpack, so it just, keeps things a little bit more separated. We use them all the time. They're super easy. Definitely recommend having some reusable shopping bags. So this one might not seem like a necessity to everyone, but I'm a nurse. I want to have a digital thermometer. Now this one is very easy, it is flexible, it is lightweight, I can throw it into my bag and never really have to think about it until I need it. Because there are those times where you're gonna get sick out on the road. I like knowing if I have a temperature or not, and those times when you're feeling sick is not the time you wanna run to a pharmacy and try and buy one. So I throw this into my bag, it's just in my toiletries, I never notice it when I don't need it, but when I do need it, I'm glad that I have it. While we're talking about first aid, another thing I recommend is having some Pepto-Bismol chewable tablets. These are things that is really hard to find in a lot of places in the world. And if you are feeling sick, again, you don't want to run to a pharmacy and try and find some alternative. It is so nice just to have some of these thrown in the back of your bag that you can grab out when you need them to get a little bit of relief from those stomach aches or food poisoning or anything like that. I love these. We always try and travel with them. Another couple of weird things that we like to have, we carry this little squirt bottle, which I call the poor man's iron. So if I get to a place and I'm pulling out a shirt out of my bag and sometimes they just get really wrinkly, I can fill this little baby up, squirt it down, shake it out, and all those wrinkles come out. So I really like having this. Another thing that David uses a lot is Superglue. I cannot tell you how often Superglue comes in handy, whether I broke a little piece off of my glasses, or I can't even think of all the times we've used it. There's so often that Superglue can come in really handy. Again, it's teeny tiny, it goes into the bag, we never think about it until we need it, and then we can pull it out. So one thing David and I did to save money is we learned how to cut each other's hair. So this might not appeal to everybody, but maybe some of you guys out there, we like using this Wahl cordless hair trimmer. Now, this is gonna work like any other hair trimmer, which is great, but what we really like about it is A, it's cordless, so we're not tied to an outlet somewhere. We can go out into the backyard or something and cut each other's hair. And 2, it is dual voltage. Now this is really important because a lot of electronics back in the States, they work off a voltage of 110 to 120, but around the world, there are many countries like Europe where the voltage is 220 to 240. And if you try and plug in a device that only works in the United States, it's just going to explode and stop working. So this is dual voltage. It will work anywhere in the world. We can plug it in and charge it up. We have been using this now for, I think, about 6 months. I think maybe we've recharged it twice. It's a great little device. And if you're looking for something to help cut your hair, this is great. So this one comes with all the accessories you would expect from a hair trimmer. It comes with a little bag to keep it all contained. Altogether, it is about 1.4 pounds, which is a little bit heavy, but for the use that we get out of it, it is absolutely worth it for us. So a must-have item for us is our electric toothbrushes. Now, some of you might not need these. You know, you can get just a regular manual toothbrush, which are cheap and light and easy to replace. But for us, our dentist actually recommended that we use these. I have a tendency to brush too hard. And so I've been using an electric toothbrush now for over 20 years. It just helps with my gum health and I really like having it. So I used to have, you know, when I was back home in the United States, I had just like a regular Oral-B that I would plug into the wall, but it was not dual voltage, so it wouldn't work for me while traveling abroad. So I was very excited to find this one from Bitvae that actually plugs into a USB port. So you don't plug it into the wall at all. I just plug it into like my computer and it will charge it. This has been working very well for us. It came with 8 replaceable heads, which should last us for 2 years. And it comes with a little carrying case to keep it clean when you're packing it away. And while it is bigger than just a regular manual toothbrush, it's still pretty light. It only weighs, I think it comes in under 6 ounces. I'm not sure how a USB charged toothbrush would be useful back at home. You can't just plug that into the wall in the bathroom. But for someone who's traveling, this is the greatest thing ever, and I'm very glad that we found it. Nowadays, we're all traveling with a phone and we need a system for keeping it charged. So I really like this MagSafe charger from Belkin, but what's important, whether you have a MagSafe version or just a corded one that plugs into your phone, is you want to get something that's long. Too often these plugs are not where you're going to want them, and especially I like charging my phone overnight as I sleep. But I might also want to be on my phone for a little while before I go to bed, and those plugs just aren't always right next to your bed. So you want to get something that has a long cord that's going to reach and be convenient for you to charge. Cords wrap up really easily, they're not heavy, so make sure you bring something that's long enough that it's going to be functional.
Rob pulled me in here to talk about binoculars. That is something that's pretty specific to our birding, although they are something that you can use in all kinds of different situations. So this is my pair, the Vortex Optics Viper. They are a terrific pair of binoculars. They are very clear, they can see in low light, they are resistant to water. If it rains, they don't fog up. There's a lot of really great things about this. Rob uses the Bushnell. As you can see, they are a lot smaller. The thing with these is they are not as clear. They don't work as well in lower lights, but some of the great things about it is they're very small and they are much easier to carry around. Mine get pretty heavy and I carry them on my neck all the time, so there's a lot of weight. These ones he can carry in his pocket, and the price is much lower than mine.
I hope you found this helpful, and I will leave links to all of these items in the description below the video. If you are interested on things we used to carry when we had bigger bags, we did make a video on the things we left behind when we moved to carry on only, and I will leave that link right here.